Welcome everyone. The time is 2:59, so if you're here early, a very warm welcome to you, but we're just going to give all the other attendees another 2 minutes to arrive. We'll get started just shortly after 3 o'clock. All right, some people are trickling in. We'll give everyone 1 more minute and then we will begin the presentation. Okay, I think there are enough of you here to get started, so welcome to the virtual info session for the ICATT Apprenticeship Program. My name is Lee Wickham. I'm an applicant outreach coordinator with ICATT, and I am really excited to share with you guys some of the opportunities in our program and how it works. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping things. You guys will see on the right side of your screen something that looks like this. It is your control panel, and it gives you the ability to do a few things. One of those is to raise your hand. Oh, so if you guys raise your hand here using that hand icon on the side, that will be important because I'm going to ask you a few questions at the beginning and throughout the presentation where I'll ask you to raise your hand if. So can everyone just test that out? Try raising your hand right now. Perfect. Okay. Nice. The other thing that you guys can do is ask questions in that questions/chat tab that you might see on your control panel. So we'll save the Q&A for the end, but at any point throughout the presentation, feel free to put a question in there and we will address it at the end. Alongside me today are my colleagues Evelyn and Miriam, who work in the applicant outreach team with me as well. So I want to start before we begin just by finding out who is out there today. So can you guys raise your hand if you are a current high school student? Okay, a couple of you. Raise your hand if you are a current senior. All right, most of you are seniors who are in high school. And raise your, my slides are jumping ahead of me, sorry about that. Raise your hand if you're a teacher or a counselor at high school. Okay, raise your hand if you're a parent. Any parents there? We love to have parents attend as well. Nice, okay. So now that I know who's out in the audience, I think it's okay to begin the presentation. I want to start very generally before I get into the details of how the ICATT apprenticeship program works, and just ask everyone to think about this. In your mind, what makes a successful career? Now, there are all kinds of factors that make a successful career, and they're different for everybody, but here are some things you might want to consider. Number one, college debt. So that's a huge issue for so many people in this country. Student loans are really expensive because tuition for college is really expensive. A degree that you can't use, that might get in the way. So maybe you graduate from college, but you find the skills that you learn in college don't really translate to a job. You guys are looking right now at a German area studies major. So I'm very lucky to have found a job, but if you go to four-year college and major in something like German, it might not be straightforward for you in your career path. Maybe a boring job is between you and the career that you want. You have work, you're getting paid, but it's just not very fulfilling. Maybe you love what you do, you have a great job, but it doesn't pay you enough. Maybe you just can't find a job. And that's a problem that so many Americans are facing right now, especially with the pandemic. Unemployment is through the roof for people through no fault of their own. But I just want to circle back to that number one bullet here, college debt. So, and I'll throw some numbers at you about college debt in this country. You will see that four-year college graduates average with a starting salary after graduating in their first jobs, $50,000 per year. That sounds pretty good, but there's a key caveat, and that's your average if you find a job that matches your qualifications. And of four-year college graduates in this country, 43% are underemployed. So almost half of four-year college graduates in this country are making less than that average salary because they graduate with skills that don't translate into a job, and they're not able to find work that matches their qualifications right out of college. And so a huge minority of those four-year college graduates in this country don't get to make that average starting salary that looks pretty good. They spend 4 years gaining all of these skills and expertise in whatever subject, but they actually can't apply it, and they get paid a lot less. So of these 43% who are underemployed, not able to use all the skills that they graduated with, they're making significantly less, on average $37,000 per year. So for argument's sake, I want to show everyone what that looks like in praxis. If you're one of those 43% who are underemployed, making significantly less than the average starting salary for a four-year college graduate, I rounded up to $40,000 per year with student loans. This is what your monthly budget would look like. You'd start out after taxes with about $2,600 in monthly net pay. And now thinking about essential costs. So what do you have to pay? I think a cell phone these days is considered pretty essential. If you have unlimited data from T-Mobile, that'll cost you about $70 per month. So take that out of your monthly net pay. Take out $1,000 to pay rent, put a roof over your head, and that's numbers pulled from Schaumburg, Illinois, just for example's sake. It'll vary based on where you are. But that'll cost you a lot. So take away roughly $1,000. Internet, take away $30 for Comcast low speed connection. If you want higher speeds, it's going to be more than that. Car payment. If you have a car and you're still paying it off, the average car payment per month in this age group is $350 per month. That's quite a bit. Car insurance. And if you're under 25, raise your hand if you're under 25 out there. Car insurance is a lot more expensive for you, so that might even be higher, but I said $100. Gas for your car, depends how much you drive, but I said on average you could expect to pay $100 per month. Student loan payments. This is the average student loan payment for a four-year college graduate, and it's $350 per month coming out of your pocket, going back to a school that you've already graduated from. So that's a real kicker. Health insurance, $120 right there. That's essential. Food, $200. Food is certainly essential, an essential cost, but this is your food if you're paying for pasta and pasta sauce from Aldi every night. So really low budget food options. If you take all of those essential costs and you subtract them from what you can expect to make as a four-year college graduate per month, you don't have very much left over. So less than $300 is what you have to work with before you have thought about saving any money or doing anything fun, booking a trip. I mean, I wish we could all book trips right now, but doing something fun like that, taking out your friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, you don't have a lot of money to work with to really do things that you enjoy or invest in the future. And so what are your options here? If you're in high school thinking about what do I want to do when I graduate, or if you're in a career right now thinking I need something new, I need work, and I need a steady long-term career, what are your options? I don't think four-year college, especially in the financial times we're in right now, is actually that savvy of a choice. So I'm gonna tell you, as a four-year college idiot, uh, about an alternative, and that is the ICATT Apprenticeship program. Uh, Here's how the program works. It is an earn while you learn program. So for every hour that you spend working at a company, you get paid for that on-the-job training. You also attend college part-time. So 3 days a week, you can expect to be reporting to your company. 2 days a week, you will be taking classes at a local network college. Whoops, it's happening again. And you get paid for all of that training without paying anything out of your own pocket, even for college, because college is paid for in full by your employer. So you have no college debt during the program, after the program, for the rest of your life through ICATT. Your pay rate as an apprentice increases every year of the program. So there are 3 years of training working with that 3-day, 2-day part-time school, part-time work structure. You get a raise each year, and your salary after graduating from the program averages about $45,000 based on data we've collected from our companies. So that's money that can go straight into your pocket. You don't have to worry about debt, and it's money, it's a salary that will go up and up because you have all these credentials that set you up for growth in your career. So it is a 5-year total commitment, 3 years of training, plus a 2-year full-time job guarantee. After you graduate and get that associate's degree from your college and other industry certifications, you are rewarded also with a full-time job and a salary that matches your new qualifications. So a little bit more on what these jobs look like for apprentices. These are interesting and in-demand careers. They are highly technical careers with hands-on problem solving. The companies in our network who are hiring apprentices are largely advanced manufacturers, and they are looking for the next generation of their workforce. So manufacturing in this country has what we call a skills gap, an entire generation or series of generations that have been not so excited about applying for jobs in manufacturing. Why aren't they excited? Well, if you think about old-fashioned images of manufacturing, it's old, smoky factories without very many windows that aren't climate controlled, and long shifts, long hours, grueling manual labor. That's not true. Manufacturing these days is incredibly high tech. It's automated. It's using some of the world's leading technology, and it requires some really smart and well-trained individuals to be the brains behind that automated technology. So the skills that you get in our program are to be exactly that. There are 4 apprenticeship profiles that we offer. They all involve working and maintaining and operating really high-tech machines, but with slightly different areas of expertise. So I'll run through those really quick. The advanced manufacturing technician is sort of like an all-around industrial maintenance problem solver. Any issue with a machine on the floor of a manufacturer, you're the first person that they would call as an advanced manufacturing technician to take a look at the machine. A mechatronics technician is a little more specialized on the electrical control side of a manufacturing process. So think PLC systems, sensors, pneumatic systems, all of that really advanced stuff. You are setting it up, maintaining it, operating it so that parts and products can be produced for the public. CNC machinist, that one is pretty self-explanatory. You're operating a computer numerically controlled CNC machine using a code so that the machine can produce a really precise part over and over and over again. Pharmaceutical manufacturing technician is exactly what it sounds like. It's specializing in the production of critical pharmaceutical products. And the credentials that you get in any of these 4 profiles when you graduate as an ICATT apprentice are recognized nationally in the US as well as around the world. And one thing I just want to throw in here about manufacturing is that, especially right now in the midst of this pandemic, these jobs are essential. Companies in our network and manufacturers across the US are still in operation, some of them even ramping up their production to produce critical products to support the fight against COVID-19. And so today, but really at all times, manufacturers are essential in producing products that the world needs. So whatever your passion is, if it's aerospace technology, if it's the medical field, if it's food production, anything at all, there's manufacturing behind it, making the products that that industry needs to succeed and that this country and the people need to succeed. So I want to circle back now to a monthly budget one more time. This looks like the slide I showed you a few minutes ago, but there are a few key differences. This is a monthly budget for an ICATT graduate. So what is different about this budget? Couple things. The number at the top is different. So you can expect to make $45,000 per year on average. That's up from the average underemployed 4-year college graduate. Your monthly net pay, therefore, is a bit higher. You don't have one of the most expensive items on this list to deal with, which is your student loans. So you can forget about that, and therefore, as an ICATT apprentice graduate, you can expect to have a lot more money left over at the end of the month. $1,000 to dedicate to the things that you love to do, to treat your friends, to save for the future. You have a lot more flexibility and security with a budget like that versus a 4-year college graduate. So now you are all looking at some of the ICATT network companies. All of these companies are interested in hiring apprentices, and they are the places where you could expect to report to work as an ICATT apprentice. We are active across the Midwest, so we have clusters in Greater Chicago, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Wisconsin, and Nebraska. Quick shout out, who is from Illinois in the audience? Raise your hand. Okay, a couple of you guys. What about Minnesota? Nice, okay. Anyone from Nebraska? And what about Indiana? Okay. Who am I forgetting? Wisconsin. Any Wisconsin folks? Okay, a good mix of you guys. Here are some of the ICATT network colleges. So as a student, the student classroom part of your training as an apprentice would take place at one of these colleges, which are again across the Midwest in those locations that I just mentioned. I do just want to plug for those Minnesota folks in the audience. We partner with Hennepin Technical College, and we're really excited to launch our first cohort of apprentices there this summer. Richard J. Daley College is the other one that I want to highlight right now because it's another new network college with their first cohort starting this summer, and actually a special Richard J. Daley College open house event is taking place next week. More on that later, but if you're based in Chicago, you might want to attend that one. So I've talked about this whole program, overloaded all of you with information about how it works, but the key thing that you need to know is what you need to do if you're interested in becoming an apprentice. So what are the steps? First, if you are a high school senior or older, you should apply. That's the best way to start all of this, is to fill out our application online at www.icattapprenticeships.com/apply. And my colleague Miriam has been dropping some key links in the chat here, including that application, which you can find. Once you apply, we will get notified that you have applied. We will reach out to you and ask you to schedule a phone call with us. And that's where we'll connect you with a local network college. We'll need to make sure that you meet placement at our network college. That might involve submitting ACT or SAT scores or prior transcripts from other college coursework you have, or taking a placement test if you don't have any of that stuff. The third and final step. So once we have verified that you are academically ready for the program, we've looked at your transcripts, or you've successfully taken placement tests in math and English, we put your information out to our network companies who begin their own hiring processes. And at that point, it's just like any other job application. You get invited to an interview. If the interview goes well and you and the company find that it's a good fit, you'll be extended an offer and you'll be hired as an ICATT apprentice. So what is the timeline for all of this? Right now, it's really critical that you apply if you are interested in joining this summer 2020 cohort. Companies began hiring this spring. A lot of them are continuing to hire through the summer, but we need applications to come in really right now for those who want to have a chance at being considered by our companies for the summer 2020 cohort. That's because college starts in August. The ICATT apprentice schedule functions on the academic calendar. So when college semesters start up this August, that's when apprentices need to have been registered for class already. They need to have been set up at their college and their company, all the paperwork done. So we need to have those hires completed really by the end of June so that each apprentice can start smoothly in August. How many out there are high school underclassmen? Raise your hand. And I might have already asked this, but okay, actually none of you. But if you are out there, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, that's okay. You aren't quite old enough to apply yet, but you can sign up for our mailing list and we'll be sure to get in touch with you once you are old enough to apply. And Miriam's going to drop the link to the mailing list in the chat. Okay, so I think that's everything I wanted to cover. I'll just take this last minute at the end to plug our upcoming event one more time. So 1 week from today at 2 p.m. next Thursday, June 4th, we're hosting another informational event. This one is specific for Chicago-based applicants who are interested in the program at Richard J. Daley College. At the event will also be one of our hiring companies who works with Daley College. They're called Mauser Packaging Solutions. They're looking for a bunch of apprentices next year. They'll present about the exact opportunities available there. And if you attend and you're based in Chicago, it will also be a chance for you to reach out directly to the individuals responsible for hiring at Mauser and potentially set up an interview with them. So that's something you don't want to miss if you're based in Chicago. And I believe that's the end of our presentation. So if you want to learn more, please visit our website. Everything I told you just now and more is at ICATTapprenticeships.com. I also want to encourage you to connect with us on social media. You can't click any of these buttons here because it's a PowerPoint, but find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of that. And email and phone number contacts are here as well. I'm going to open it up to questions right now and also just let everyone know that my colleague Miriam is here as well as Evelyn, who might be able to jump in and answer questions too. So let me take a look at what you guys have been writing.
Yeah, hi everyone. So we already got one question. Will this recording be provided to share with others?
Great question. I forgot to mention that. Yes, we were recording this event and we'll follow up with everyone via email with the recording so you can watch it later or share with friends of yours who missed today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And we've got another one. What does a typical day as an apprentice look like?
So that would depend if you're attending college or your company. And it depends on the company really, but at your company, you will have a mentor who's responsible for training you and seeing that you get the required training to be a successful employee there. And we have training documents and materials that structure the on-the-job training to make sure that you're not just working the same machine, pressing the same button day after day. The idea is that each day as an apprentice is a little bit different and gives you a chance to apply new skills that you might have picked up in the classroom at college.
And if you want to watch a little video, we have, I don't know, a 2 to 3 minute video of our current apprentice, Conrad, and it is just the best way to hear from him directly what the days as an apprentice look like. I dropped that in the chat. Yeah.
Definitely check out that YouTube video. It explains better than I possibly could about what an apprentice experience is like.
Okay, and we've got another one. So, does the college arrange my job with a company once I register for classes? How does that work?
So not quite like that. You won't be registering for classes until you've been hired by a company, and we connect you with our network colleges in the application process just to see that you meet placement, so that when you do get hired, we're sure that you're ready to get started at college right away.
Okay, and another one, how physical is the work?
It's definitely physical. You should expect to be on your feet. Again, depends on the company and the training profile that you get hired for, but it's hands-on work. It's lifting, nothing crazy, nothing backbreaking, especially in your first year, but it is physical work. That's about all I can say without without looking individually at each company and the experience there.
Thank you. And another one, how long is the commitment again?
So it is a 5-year total commitment, 3 years of training, plus a 2-year full-time job guarantee. 5 years, raise your hand if that sounds like a long time to you. Some hands raised. It is a long time. Think about the alternative though. If you were to apply to a 4-year college, it wouldn't be until earliest 5 years later where you're expected to, have a steady job, have a salary, and in that 5th year, if you're a 4-year college graduate, you're paying off student loans. But in your 5th year as an ICATT graduate, you've been making a full-time salary for 2 years and you don't have any student loan debt to pay off.
Okay, so 5 years in total. Okay. And I have another one for you. Where can I find out more about your partner companies?
Lee, I think you've been muted. I'm going to go ahead and answer. You can check our webpage and go to the either company site, and it'll list all the companies. You can click on those logos and take a look at all those companies. Or there is one you can go to locations, and it'll set it up by college locations. So you can check the college that is most close to you and see what companies are part of that network. And if you want to broaden your view, if you're able to travel a little farther, you can check out some of the other colleges and see what companies are part of those networks. So you can figure out, okay, where would it be practical for me to live, to work, and what would that look like? How far am I willing to go for my drive?
Okay, I think I'm back. Thank you, Evelyn.
I don't see any other questions for the moment. So there is another one. How much can we expect to make as a first-year apprentice?
So based on a survey that we took last summer, we found that the average starting salary for apprentices is $11.25 an hour. Again, we at ICATT make sure that each apprentice gets a raise each year of the program, so you can expect that starting salary to go up in years 2 and 3.
And you will also
Sorry, go ahead, Maria.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that you'll also get a stipend for the days you attend school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and another one. How does this work with the COVID-19 going on?
Good question. So we're still working with our network colleges to find that out. We know that there will absolutely be a summer 2020 cohort. Many apprentices have already been hired, and companies are developing ways to have apprentices come and receive that on-the-job training while following social distancing guidelines and keeping everyone safe. As for our colleges, those decisions are still being made, but apprentices will not be expected to put themselves in danger just to attend class. Many classes, especially general education classes like math and English, will be taught online.
And those with labs, they're making various adjustments to make sure that those components do get covered in class. For the spring semester, some had to delay that because all the labs were shut down. So they'll cover that material when they can this past spring semester. But going forward, some of the colleges are doing different things like putting up barriers between the stations so that there's a little more protection between the students when they're in the lab at the time. So they can still get that hands-on experience. So it's all in process, it's all developing, and they are decreasing the size of the classes in the labs, so that we'll have to work with that also.
Okay, and we've got some more questions. Sorry if I missed this as I joined late. What is a typical acceptance rate for applicants?
We've never calculated an acceptance rate, and we at ICATT neither accept nor reject applicants. Final hiring decisions are made by our companies. What we do is we field the applications, we assist each applicant through the college placement steps, and once each applicant has met placement at a local network college, then they will be forwarded to our network companies who decide if they want to hire these candidates or not.
We can't guarantee that you're going to be hired. It is entirely up to the company who they choose to be part of their company. You are being hired as a full-time, as an employee who's going to be there for a long time, 5 years, full-time at the end of the 3. So it's about company fit, and you have to be able to think about, okay, do I want to work at this company? Does it fit me? As well as them looking at you to see if you fit in their company.
All right. And the last question for now, what if you did PSEO and already have college credits? Also, can you leave the program at any time if it's not working out?
Good questions. So any coursework that you already have that you think might be relevant, you can submit your transcripts for that and possibly waive those classes from the ICATT curriculum. But we will deal with that on a case-by-case basis. It depends on the college, whether those credits transfer, but we'll help you through that. The second question about leaving the program if it's not a good fit for you in the middle of the program. So you have that option, but as an apprentice, you do sign a contract that commits you to the company for that 5-year commitment. If you break the contract, the company is liable to ask you to repay the tuition that you have spent or that they have covered for your college. Sometimes apprentices do leave the program. We've seen that, but we've never actually seen a company chase down an apprentice for that tuition money. Anytime an apprentice needs to leave the program, it's usually on relatively cordial terms. And so I do just want to make every applicant aware of that clause in the apprentice contract, but also that we've never seen companies chase an apprentice down for that money.
We have experienced that most apprentices, if they find it's not a good fit, they leave within that first year. So it's only typically 2 semesters for which they might be liable for that tuition. You know pretty soon whether it's really going to work out, whether it's a good fit, and it's better to get out of it before it gets worse, if it is such a situation as that, than to try to endure and not do well. So do have conversations when you're in any situation like that with your company, with the others around you, even with ICATT, because we do check in with all the apprentices throughout their entire term for the 3 years while they're in the program, to make sure that what's happening both at work and college is going well for them and any concerns they might have.
And there are chances to find out what it will really be like and to see beforehand if it's a good fit for you. A lot of companies are willing to hire an apprentice on sort of an internship basis for a couple months before they actually get enrolled at college and officially become an apprentice. And that can be used as like a trial period for both parties, where they can try and figure out if it is a good fit without any sort of financial risks or binding contracts.
Okay. And we got one last one. Is there a list of the ICATT curriculum available?
That's a college by college thing. Again, unfortunately, that's how a lot of the coursework works in ICATT. We have to determine the curriculum with each college individually. So if you're curious about a particular college, please reach out to us and we can give you info about what the curriculum looks like in detail. But unfortunately, that's not published publicly.
Mainly because it changes, because as curriculum develops and accommodates the new types of training that's needed by the companies, it will change. So we want to make sure we give you the most recent, most current information.
Okay. I think that's all for now. Feel free to reach out to us, write us an email, or use our chat function on our website so we can answer all the questions you have.
That's right. So if you haven't applied yet, visit our website, get your applications in. If you've already applied, get in touch with us, send us an update, and we'll check in with you and see if we can connect you with any companies. And if you're here collecting information, thanks for stopping by. Please spread the word. And as always, feel free to get in touch if anything else comes up. I think if there are no more questions, we will leave it there. So have a great afternoon, everyone, and stay in touch to hear about future events like the daily event next week and other developments at ICATT. Thanks, everyone, and take care.
Thank you.